Oh, poor Bashar al-Assad. The war's been going on for so long. This country's being torn apart. And unfortunately, my country had a lot to do with it. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But, hey, why the change in your countenance, Bashar al-Assad? Why are you so happy all of a sudden? I'll tell you, Hunk Marvel, I'm so happy. The war is finally over. It's over. We've defeated ISIS. They hold no more territory in Syria. It's wonderful, and I'd like to thank Vladimir Putin for helping. Yes, praise Allah. Well, that is wonderful news. Peace in the Middle East. Oh, no. Oh, no. Why now? Why? There's peace in Syria. The war is over. Syria and Russia have triumphed over the United States and Israel's cat's paw, known as ISIS or ISIL. So all of a sudden, Donald Trump declares Jerusalem or Al-Quds as Israel's capital. So we need a new war, apparently. It's good for the economy, right? Jerusalem is supposed to be an international city, not anybody's capital. So what's going on here? Well, I'll allow this man to explain it.
This is a culmination of this policy by Israel and its influence over the United States. Trump's son-in-law is a virulent Zionist. Kushner, Jared Kushner, is his top advisor in the Middle East, and he has been an avid supporter of Netanyahu, and this is part of his policies and influences over Trump. Trump is trying to pay back the Zionists who contributed millions of dollars to his electoral campaign, and this is the payoff for his receiving that kind of financial backing.
Now let's see how the Trump administration frames the whole thing.
6 months ago, the Senate overwhelmingly on both sides said they wanted him to do it, and he's following through on the will of the American people. And I think that everyone will respect that. They understand that the United States is going to put their embassy in the capital. Why should Israel be any different than any other country in the world?
Why should it be different for Israel? Because it's not their capital. They captured that city in the 6-day war. That was a war of aggression. Look into it. Israel wasn't attacked by all of its Arab surrounding nation states. Israel attacked the surrounding nation states and grabbed land. It was a war of aggression. Oh well. The Trump Jerusalem Declaration causes Hamas to declare intifada. Palestinian Islamist group Hamas has called for a new uprising against Israel following Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as capital of the Jewish state. So what will happen is that a Palestinian boy will protest the decision and throw a stone at an Israeli tank, and then the IDF will kill thousands of Palestinians in Gaza and say it was self-defense against Hamas terrorism. Now the Jews claim that Jerusalem is theirs because they've occupied it, but other people, other ethnicities have occupied it. And the Jews aren't even the descendants of the ancient Israelites. I suggest you pause this video at certain times to read this. You could see the prophecies about what would become of the ancient Israelites and their descendants. And you could see by these prophecies that it cannot possibly refer to the Jews. It could only refer to people of European descent. I hope you get the picture. And this sermon by Bertrand Comparet talks about how Jerusalem being under control of the Jews and emerging as a power is important for the last days, is important for prophecy. Again, freeze this video to study this. Our King Yahweh has said, Israel brings forth God's fruit. Israel shall do it. It shall blossom and bud. But what did he say about the fig tree, Jerusalem? What did he say about the Jewish state? The fig tree is a symbol of the Jewish nation, not Israel. Yeshua, Jesus Christ, said it would bear no fruit. It would only sprout leaves. And he said unto it, let no fruit grow on thee henceforth forever. And the fig tree withered away. That's Jerusalem, and that's the Jewish state. I strongly suggest you look into the prophecy of Judah ben Samuel. He lived in the 1200s, and he accurately predicted who would control Jerusalem over the centuries. He predicted 400 years of Turkish rule over Jerusalem, and then for one Jubilee it would be no man's land, and then Jerusalem would be under control of the Jews, which happened in 1967, and then there would be one more Jubilee, or 50 years, and then in 2017 would begin the New Age. I know of no other prophet whose prophecies were so chillingly accurate than Judah ben Samuel. And there's a chart that shows his predictions. He made the prediction back then. He predicted the Turks would take control of Jerusalem, 400 years or 8 Jubilees, 50 years for each Jubilee. Takes you to 1917, and sure enough, in that year, after 8 Jubilees, the Turks lost Jerusalem. 50 years or 1 Jubilee was no man's land. And then the Jews took over Jerusalem in the 6-Day War. Then there'd be one more Jubilee. And who knows? Who knows if anything's going to happen? I don't know. But it's possible. I mean, look at these prophecies. Look at how accurate it is. And now Trump has declared Jerusalem to be the capital of Israel. Here's another chart. 300 years later, after his prophecy, it comes true. They rule it for 400 years. And they lose Jerusalem. No man's land for 50 years. And the Jews take over Jerusalem. One more Jubilee would be the end times. Now, of course, he hasn't come back yet. But I hope he does. Now, this is Southern California now. It's like hell on earth. Well, maybe with this latest move, it'll be the spark that makes the whole world look like this. You should be very concerned.